There we go.
So they're both going now?
Now they're both going. Hi, friends. Jamie's on his way.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
I'm Shannon Curtis.
No, you're not.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, everybody. It's so great to see you. I mean, we're not really seeing you, but hopefully we'll get to see you in the comments later. But welcome to our monthly live acoustic concert. This is the second month that we've done it both simultaneously on YouTube and on Facebook Live.
We're simulcasting people.
Hi YouTube. Hi Facebook Live. We're glad you all are here. This concert is brought to you by our Misfit Stars community, which we'll tell you more about in a minute. Let's just start with the song.
That sounds great.
Okay.
We're both flustered and out of breath. We never quite are ready on time, you know what I mean, people? You know how like when you have a meeting and it's at 7 and you show up at 7:01 out of breath? That's us. So we thought, why don't we start with a difficult song?
This is not difficult. Not at all.
Oh, you're right!
This is gonna put us, it's gonna get us in the right mood, so yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great then.
Are you ready?
I think so. I don't know. My sources say unclear. My sources say
Here we go.
unclear. Think.
Here we go. Why don't you stay? Why don't you stay? Just a little bit longer. Just a little bit closer. Till the end of the song. It's not too late. To get something started. Turn the record on over. Night's plenty long. The clock on the table has stopped. Freezing the frame. Where out from here, the lines are unclear. I'm in your arms. Hear now the rumble of walls crumbling around my resolve. Logic defined. What might we find between now and dawn? So why don't you stay? Just a little bit longer. Just a little bit closer. Till the end of the song. Jamie. made it.
How does it sound, people? Hit some hearts if it sounds good.
We're in a new setup this time. You might notice that this is the first time we've done one of these live acoustic concerts in our studio. And so Jamie's actually playing through our studio monitors speakers, and we're hoping it sounds good. I think the hearts say yes.
All right, good. Mash some thumbs down if it doesn't sound good. Boo!
So, welcome to those of you viewing on YouTube. Welcome to those of you viewing on Facebook Live. This is our monthly live acoustic concert brought to you by our Misfit Stars community. And we have the Misfit Stars to thank for supporting the work that Jamie and I do in an ongoing kind of way that makes things like this concert possible. They make things, lots of other things that we do possible. They support all of the work that we do, which includes making new music, new recordings, doing these concerts, lots of mentoring activity with younger artists and up-and-coming artists and people just kind of getting started and figuring out how to make music in the world, our weekly podcast. There's lots of things that the Misfit Stars support. Thank you, Misfit Stars, for supporting us. And if you watching, and you are not part of our Misfit Stars community and you would like to be, well, I have good news for you. You can join it. You go to misfitstars.com/join and you can join what we're doing here. You can join the group that is supporting the work that we do, and we have just a wonderful community of people. That's really the best part of that group is the community. Yeah, what did you say?
I would say that, Shannon.
Would you say that? Okay.
I'm sorry if I seem distracted. I'm realizing I have absolutely no idea how this next song begins. I'm sitting here furiously trying to think it through.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be an adventure for me. I hope it's an adventure for you.
Did you work it out?
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
we're about to see.
I'm
just going to do a couple exploratory little chords.
Well, I'm gonna set up the song. So
all right.
A couple more minutes or seconds to buy. Yes. Okay, so all the songs on the set list tonight were chosen by our Misfit Stars. We put out a ballot and they voted, and we are playing the top 10 songs that made it to the top of that list. And they picked the top ones.
Deep cuts.
Yeah, there's some deep cuts. There's some like personal like pet favorites of mine that made it, which is really great. Like this next one, for instance. We haven't gotten to play this song live since our tour in 2017. It's a song from the album The Space Between, and it's a song called Stand and Look Up. And in 2017, for me, that whole record, The Space Between, was really sort of about me exploring sort of this awakening that I was having. And I admit I was probably late to the game, but I got there.
Probably a lot of you were having the same awakening.
Awakening to the reality that we have divided ourselves in this country. And not only that we are divided, but we have divided ourselves. I think it's an important distinction because we also have the power to undivide. Is that the opposite of divide?
Unite.
We have the power to unite as well. And here's the thing: like I was coming to the understanding that, gosh, and I'm getting more and more understanding around this all the time. That I think that probably the root of just about every injustice in our society is this hierarchy that is defined by these totally made up divisions that we have made for each other around race, gender,
class.
Yeah, there's so many things that that divide us, and then we order ourselves into hierarchy. Like this is a better group than this group. Or if I'm in this group, I want the other groups to be in groups below me. There's so much about what's unjust about our world based on those hierarchies. But also, we're all just people. Like we all feel similar things when we fall in love. We all feel similar things when we experience pain. We all experience awe, and this song is sort of centered around that really unique event that happened in the summer of 2017 when most of the United States was able to go and watch a full solar eclipse, a complete solar eclipse. We were on tour doing this show, the show that this song was on that tour. And
we were in Charlottesville on that day, so it was extra meaningful.
It was, but what struck me about that day, and people's preparation for that day, was it didn't matter what race you were, what gender you were, how much money you had, what political party you belonged to. anyone who was able to see that sight that day, anyone who was able to see the moon block out the light of the sun, was able to do that in a moment of just pure wonder and awe. And I was struck by the idea that in moments like that, if we can get in touch with more moments like that, maybe we can undo some of the division that we have experienced with each other. Maybe we can begin to get in touch with other people's humanity in a deeper way that allows us to heal. And to do that, we have to start seeing each other as full humans.
Not just as caricatures, right? Not just as members of groups, but just as whole people.
Yeah.
Each of us unique and individual and strange and weird and just doing our best.
Yeah. So this is Stand and Look Up.
We think it's going to be Stand and Look Up. We're going to see what my fingers do.
I love it. Changed me, never mind. I was only 16. The thrill and devastation, what would I do for this elation? What sacrifice to be swept off my feet? Felt it too. He felt it too. You felt it too, didn't you? Stumbled, the stone foundation shook and crumbled. Everything I had trusted was dust. A hole opened inside me, I fell and grounded nothing. Did not believe that I would ever get up. He felt it too, she felt it too, you felt it too, didn't you?
We got there.
We got there.
Right on.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. I'm so happy that we're here doing this.
It's so nice to see all of you.
I mean, seeing hearts, I'm seeing some comments popping in. It's way too far away for me to actually see what you're saying, but I promise I'll go back and look at the comments on YouTube and on Facebook later.
Yeah.
I promise.
And I'm pretty sure that on YouTube there's chat, right? And I think that there's probably going to be some people chatting in there. I know there's people chatting in the Facebook. They always do.
Yay!
So if you want to meet some new people, if you're watching this, just chip in, pipe in.
Yeah. Hey, so the next song on our list is from the album we made in 2018 called Both at the Same Time. Do you remember that album that had this cover? It's kind of shiny and bright there. I don't know if you can see
Hold it further away.
Anyway, I just thought So for the last, well, for several of the albums we've made, in 17, 18, and 19, we made a companion book to go with the album, and in a couple of those, I actually wrote some essays or writings kind of about the songs, and I really
personal reflections.
Yeah, I just wanted to actually read the story that I wrote for this song tonight, because I couldn't think of a better way to introduce it. And actually, the story that's in this book about this song is not one that I got to share live when we did this tour a couple years ago. So the song is called something like Hallelujah, and let me just read the story to you. And the title is Certainty and Mystery. So there are times I look back on scenes from my childhood or from my 20s, or heck, from 2 weeks ago, and I cringe at a thing I did or at words I spoke. Times I spoke from a place of ignorance or acted from a place of selfishness. And there's one specific such scene from sometime around 6th grade. Me sitting next to a friend at the edge of the neighborhood pool where I spent most summer days, our feet dangling in the water. I can't remember how we got into this topic of conversation, but somehow we ended up talking about religion and death and what happens after a person dies. You know, just your average easy breezy poolside summertime combo between a couple of 12-year-olds. But I am horrified at and utterly embarrassed to share here what I said to my friend that day. Thinking about it now, I'm not certain I've told another living soul but Jamie this story before, even though it's haunted me for years. The shame I felt about how I behaved in this otherwise very small, forgettable moment in my life is something that I've carried with me for decades. Anyway, deep breath, here goes. I was raised in a Christian family that went to church every Sunday, sometimes twice, and also every Wednesday night. My friend at the poolside is Jewish. I'd been taught in church that only people who are born-again Christians would go to heaven after they die, and everybody else would be going to hell. On this sunny summer day at the pool, I unabashedly informed my friend of this thing I'd learned, of which I was 100% certain, and I told her that I'd really not like for her to go to hell, so she ought to think about abandoning her own family's tradition and beliefs and become a Christian. See, I told you it was bad. Bad. Now, there's a part of me that says, you were 12, give yourself some grace. But there's this other part of me that knows that I carried with me for many years before and after that a fundamental need for absolute certainty that the beliefs that I was taught were the absolute truth, TM, with zero room for any wavering or alteration, with no allowance for anyone else's unique experience or needs or education or upbringing to lead them to a different conclusion, with no permission for the introduction of any questions or doubt or crack in the evidence that might make me vulnerable to the potentially bottomless depths of fearful uncertainty that might exist beneath the glassy, shiny surface I aimed to maintain. There was a time in my life when I needed to be sure, right, that there was one and only one truth and that I knew it. And I wanted everyone else to think the way I thought, believe the way I believed, speak the way I spoke, and act the way I acted, because I now understand it helped me to be less uncomfortably uncertain about the really big and awesome mysteries of this incomprehensible existence we humans are experiencing together on this planet, in this universe, in this time. That is perhaps more than a 12-year-old girl is capable of unwrapping. And the miracle of that day by the pool is that my friend chose to remain friends with me. I think that act of grace she showed me that day, paired with acts of grace shown by many, many others in the years after that, have been an essential part of helping me to turn a corner in my understanding about what is true and what is knowable and what matters. To understand that maybe it matters not at all that we arrive at the same conclusion, but instead that we love each other enough to genuinely want peace for one another, and joy, and beauty, and hope, in this world which can be downright hard to travel, even if the paths to finding it are as varied and numerous as the souls walking this planet. To understand that those paths and those conclusions, if they've not contributed to or required the dehumanization of another person, might just all be true at the same time. And that is something worth celebrating. And so here's a song. It's called Something Like Hallelujah.
Wasn't that wonderful? I thought that was so moving.
Thank you.
And I love the story. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. I know it's kind of a long story. Thank you for letting me share it.
Yeah. Mash some hearts if you did not mind the length of the story, people.
Awesome. Well, our next song was not only voted up to the top of the set list for tonight, and by the way, I should mention, we've been doing these live concerts since August, and every month we eliminate from the ballot songs we've already done in a previous acoustic concert, which is why you're getting a brand new set list of songs every month. So this one...
These songs are like Instagram stories. They're here,
And then
they're gone.
This song was not only voted to the top, but also we have a story that somebody shared. And actually, she shared it a couple of months back. So Joy, I hope that you're watching tonight, because you're going to hear your story, and Jamie's going to read it. Beautiful Life is the song that we're on next.
I love it.
So we ask our Misfit Stars each month if they've got a story to share about one of the songs they have voted for that's like a personal connection of some kind. And Joy shared this a couple months ago for the song Beautiful Life.
This is for you, Joy, and this is from you, Joy, and thank you for sharing this. Joy says, Beautiful Life is special and important to me because it was the song that hit me the hardest the first concert of yours that I ever went to. I just got chills because it filled me with excitement and hope for the future. I listened to that album over and over on my road trip from Minnesota to Maryland that following summer to my internship. It just spoke to me, and it just felt like the journey of the album, and especially that song, was my journey. That trip, you do that. You so often tell other people's story. I think that's part of the magic of her songwriting, people. Tell me if you think I'm right. Really.
I think that's the magic of art. Like when somebody's like making stuff that's really true to them, like again, we shared a minute ago, like we're all human. We all have like these human things in common. I think that's how we latch onto each other, you know? So,
yeah, points of connection.
Yeah.
So, Joy says she felt like the journey of the album, especially that song, was my journey. That trip was a pivotal point, and that summer changed my life. I found the love of my life career-wise, what I want to do, and what I'm really passionate about.
So cool.
And I met my now fiance at an Airbnb along the way.
That's so cool.
How great is that? Oh my gosh, what an amazing story. That song encompassed 2018 for me, and every time I hear it, I still get chills.
Aw, so
Joy.
good.
Joy, thank you.
Joy.
We're so happy you're in our life.
Totally. Oh my gosh. And I remember playing this song for you in the audience in Minnesota that year. So this is Beautiful Life. I hope you enjoy it. If I told you there's end of everything. Will it matter if we got any of it right? All I know is this road has a voice, and it's calling me to make a choice. I want this life, and I want you by my side. I've never been so scared in my whole life, and I can't believe my eyes. It's just so beautiful, beautiful. I've never been so sure of what is right, and it keeps me trembling inside. This is my beautiful, beautiful life. Beautiful, beautiful life. Beautiful, beautiful life. Good job with the whistling.
I extemporaneously whistled. It was like a B.
Improvisational whispering.
You know what, here's the deal. It was C whistling, but A for effort, so it's like a B.
And then what key?
What? What?
In what key were you whistling?
Oh, G.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're naming letters of the alphabet, so I just
No,
thought.
they were grades.
Yeah. Oh, great. I know, but they're also letters of the alphabet.
Well, that's true, but there's no grade G.
There's no
Yeah.
grade G.
Although, you know what? There were some classes in college, if there had been a G, I would have got it. I had to drop out of art history my freshman year, people. Art history.
Oh, no.
How do you fail art history?
You do.
Yeah.
You failed art history. Awesome. Well, thank you, Joy, for sharing your story about that song. I hope you enjoyed hearing the song. That song, the recording is like this really dancey electronic thing. So like doing it with piano and tambourine is like a mind-bending sort of feat.
So like whistling while you play piano is hard. You know what else is hard?
What?
Hitting tambourine on 2 and 4 while you're singing.
It is also hard.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got another song. That's what we're doing. It's a concert. That means there are songs.
Wow, what a great idea. What if we just kept playing songs?
Innovative.
People could listen.
We could do that. This one is from.
I like it.
This is from our 2019 album called Revolutionary Acts of Optimism.
Can you believe 2019 was only 8 years ago? It seems
It feels like it. It definitely
so
feels
much
like it.
closer.
Okay, so this is a song called Broken Frames, and I want to tell you just very briefly where this song came from. I was in the middle of writing all the songs for Revolutionary Acts of Optimism, which were all about, like the whole album is about possibilities, like about like going after possibilities, even if they seem totally impossible.
Or far-fetched or improbable.
Exactly. And I was actually went up to my studio here in our house in Tacoma, went upstairs to my studio to work on some next song for the album, and I sat down on my little sofa in the studio to brainstorm some lyrics, and I looked over at this table next to the sofa where there was a photo of me with my mom and my sister from like many, 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 many years ago, like lots of years ago. And it's a photo that's been I've had displayed in my house wherever I've lived for a really long time. Like it's just always been part of like the wallpaper.
Just like reflexively.
Yeah, like, oh, this is where that photo goes. Okay. But for whatever reason, I looked at this photo on this day, and I looked at my face in the photo, and I realized that I looked miserable. Like, I looked absolutely, like, I was smiling, sort of, but there was just something I could tell. Like, if I had been looking at a friend, I would have been like, oh, friend, can I hug you right now? Like, that's what I felt looking at myself in this photo.
I believe the term for that is a rictus smile.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Jamie with the $10 words. He never disappoints. Also, with those glasses, he totally pulls that off, right? Like, smarty pants. Anyway, so I wrote this song essentially for that girl in that frame.
To be clear, that girl being her.
That previous version of me, before I went through lots of really painful transformation in my life to get to a place where I am now, where I'm genuinely happy and content. And so that's all I'm going to say about it, because I will just do the song for you. It's called Broken Frames. There's this picture of me before everything changed, and there's something trying to pass for a smile on my face, and I keep wondering, did she know? She is captured in a pose meant to catch a good light. Now the hair out of place, draining from her eyes. This is the kind of shot they display when you die. Did you know? Yes, there is more on the other side of shattered glass and broken frames. There is more. You will get cut when you punch through. You break your hand or break your heart. The choice is yours. She stands with people who know her at least as much as she is known, eager for all this to be over. Got somewhere she needs to go, not yet sure where it is. She's just got to go. She must have known. Yes, there is more on the other side of shattered glass and broken frames. There is more. You will get cut when you punch through. You break your hand or break your heart. The choice is yours. La la la, la la la, la la la, la 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 la, la la la, la la la, la. Yes, there is more through the shattered glass and broken frames. There is more. You will get cut when you punch through. I would walk through shattered glass, break your hand or break your heart. I would walk through shattered glass, break your hand or break your heart. I would walk through shattered glass, break your hand or break your heart. Nice job.
Right on, people. What do you think? Gosh, I've barely been looking at the screen. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let's see some thumbs down if you hate this, but let's see some hearts and thumbs up if you love this. Also, honestly, even though I said that, if you do a thumbs down, you're a dick. I'm just saying. You don't take that one.
Well,
You let me say it, and then you don't do it, and it makes us look cooler.
but here's the thing:
Thank
if you're here watching and you're giving a thumbs down, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah. This also sucked.
What I would like to know.
Wow, 5 crappy songs in a row. I wonder if number 6 will suck too.
You're still watching?
Why are you here? You could be watching our YouTube one. Wait, it's got better songs on YouTube.
It's the same exact thing, actually.
Wouldn't it be amazing if we had some actual magic phone camera where the YouTube feed, we were doing a different, like a multiverse, we were doing a different set?
I like where you're going with this.
Wow.
I really do.
And you know what? Actually, if you believe quantum physics, people, the thing I just said is actually happening.
It is. In another parallel universe, we have a song coming up about this later. This foreshadowing.
Whoa.
In the parallel
This is getting very
universe.
circular and weird.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Not to get too metaphysical on everybody, but okay, we've got a fun song. I know that there are at least a couple people who are watching tonight's live concert specifically because they saw this song on the set list that I posted a little bit ago.
This is one of the oldest ones, people.
Can I tell you? I wrote this song. Okay, I wrote this song. I was newly single. I was working as a substitute teacher in Elk Grove, California, living in Sacramento, but substitute teacher in Elk Grove, trying to scrape together a living for the first time in my adult life by myself. Like, I had never done that before. I was driving a car that was like breaking down, and I remember on a lunch break from one of my school work days, I had to go fill gas, and like I I was like sweating it whether I was going to be able to afford to fill my tank. And it was even back in the days when gas was like $1.35. Remember that?
We've all been there.
But I was sweating the gas, but I was totally stoked because I was writing all this new music as a brand new solo artist. And I remember making up the chorus to this song in my car on that lunch break going to fill gas.
That must have felt so exciting.
It was so exciting. I couldn't wait to figure out how to get a recorded version of it done. And then I got to make that recorded version finally after I met Jamie many months later when we put this song on the very first EP that I ever released as a solo artist.
We recorded this song in the house of the place that Shannon had been living before she moved to Los Angeles. We came back up north to Sacramento, to Natomas, to house sit for 10 days over the holidays, and we turned that house into a little guerrilla recording studio. The dining room was like the control room. We borrowed gear from everybody we knew because we had nothing.
It came together, though.
We had Nick Bearden playing drums in the living room.
Yes.
It was so good.
My little dog friends walking around. It was a good time. Anyway, there's a story for you. Dana shared her thoughts about this song, and
Really?
I want you to read them. Dana's one of our Misfit stars. Thank you, Dana. Mwah.
Mwah. Love you, Dana. All right, Dana says, "Rainy Day Lover needs to be sung. I am in love with your voice, Shannon, in these songs." Shannon was really singing her heart out when she was 31 years old, people. And she still does, but man, it was 11.
What am I doing now?
It was 11. When Sarah shared these with me, I said, damn, I want more songs like these. These songs capture the passion that drives us in our lives.
Oh, I love it.
I love it.
Well,
And you know what, people? Shannon remains a passionate human being, but she was so passionate in her early 30s. She was just discovering life really through new eyes, right?
Yeah.
And I think it comes through.
oh, totally. I mean, I'm still as passionate as ever about new things all the time. And I wouldn't want it any other way.
Mm-mm.
This is Rainy Day Lover. I hope you enjoy it. Timing is everything when love brings to the table an offering. Like when you came, I was willing but unable. I kept you around in my mind if by occasion this current affair ran dry. It sure enough left me high, and so I've been saving your love for, been saving your love for, been saving your love for a rainy day. And now that we're in for a downpour, there's one thing I'm hoping for: the sky will keep raining for days and days. So tell me you'll come over and we'll hide out undercover, drinking all the sweet things made for rainy day lovers. If waiting can kill you, then please pass me over. It's thunder and lightning time. I ain't gonna miss this ride. And so I've been saving your love for, been saving your love for, been saving your love for a rainy day. And now that we're in for a downpour, there's one thing I'm hoping for: the sky will keep raining for days and days. Oh If waiting can kill you, then death please pass me over. It's thunder and lightning and loving like dying. We're under the sky and storms are colliding. Yeah. And I've been saving your love
Nailed it. That's the canonical version of the song now.
What did you all think about the kazoo? The kazoo solo? Tell us what you think. Smash those hearts.
Can you believe I only rehearsed that once? Including the part where I get it into my mouth in the middle of the song? So smooth.
It's so smooth.
Wow. You don't usually think smooth when you think about a kazoo, but I bet now you do, right? I'm like the Kenny G of the kazoo.
Wow. He's like the Kenny G of the kazoo.
I'm like the Jamie H.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Kenny G song on a kazoo.
I literally don't know any Kenny G songs.
Well, we're going to find a recording maybe on the next live concert.
Whoa!
Just kidding. I would never subject
It's going to be an all Kenny G cover version.
No.
Use that thumbs down button, people. Not now. When we do.
This is an appropriate time for the thumbs down. Like,
yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah, just judging the ideas and be like, actually, that was not good.
Yeah, totally. Hey, this
yes.
next song, I'm so giddy that we get to play this one. I just love this little song. It's a little song. It's a very short little song. But we got a story from our star Shantae. Would you read it?
Yes.
Not really a story. It's a commentary. It's like her thoughts about the song. The song is called "Hooray for Love."
Shantae says, "Hooray for love. It's a theme for life. Be the love. Share the love. In the darkest of times, we can still love. We are loved in more ways than we often realize."
I love that last sentence. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's really, really true.
Yeah.
That's really actually something good to meditate on, people, Like, even if you're feeling really down, even if you're feeling really bad, anxious, stressed out, I know I have felt all of those things, like this week, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's easy sometimes in those times to forget that there are people who care about you.
Yeah.
There really are. And like, if you feel like there really isn't actually anyone in your life who cares about you, we care about you.
It's true. And
so think on us.
Yeah, that's a true statement. I think that's kind of one of my purposes for being a person who makes art and does art in public with the others is just I want people to know that they're loved. That's actually a little secret here. This is actually my mantra that I have, sort of like an internal personal mantra. Every time I sit down to play a concert, like when we're on tour, the thing I think about when I'm sitting down preparing to play a concert is I'm sitting down here to say I love you first, and I'm offering myself as an expression of I love you.
And when Shannon says saying I love you first, she means that most vulnerable of actions where no one has said it yet, and you're the first person to say it. Yeah. Have you ever been in that position? That's so scary, but it's scary because it has potentially life-altering ramifications.
Totally. This song, I was trying to remember when exactly in sort of the timeline of history I wrote it. I know for sure that the phrase "hooray for love" that came to mind when during the period of time when marriage equality was ramping up steam. Nice shirt, yes. When marriage equality was getting more and more momentum in the country. This song was written before the Supreme Court decision that legalized it nationwide, but I just remember like state by state it was becoming legalized, and I was just feeling like the possibilities for people of all expressions of love to be able to marry their loved ones it filled me with a lot of love and gratitude, and that's the spirit in which this song was written. It's called "Hooray for Love." Hooray for love, the reigning champion, prevailing over fear and doubt, the hero of all those forgotten and lost out. For is it love, or shape or length, essence of the force that makes us who we are. So why would I fight? We are all on the same side. I'll go down defending you. Love stands upright and knows that it will survive. Always wins, never fails. That's the side I choose. Hooray for love. Hooray for love. Hooray for love. The monument left standing when all our wars have burned out. A victory won, not by beating its foes down, but with love. Hooray for love. Hooray for love. Hooray for love. Yay.
Isn't that like a perfect just little
It's a
morsel
little-
of a song?
It's a little like mini sandwich.
Oh, it's an amuse-bouche of music. Just a little something, something.
Yeah, it is.
Aww.
For those of you who are just joining us,
Yes.
or who are new and you missed out on our welcome and introduction, we're so glad you're here.
I'm Shannon Curtis.
His husband. That's me. I'm Shannon Curtis. That's Jamie Hill,
Hi.
otherwise known as the Kenny G of Kazoo.
Jamie H.
We are doing this monthly.
Do you want to hear something smooth on the kazoo?
Do I? Can I?
Yeah.
Is it impossible? What do you want to hear on the kazoo? I don't even know what that was.
That's just some smooth kazoo.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Smooth Kazoo would be a great band name.
Oh.
Let's make a band.
Or a really niche radio station
Oh yeah.
in like Chippewa.
Yeah.
Smooth Kazoo 99.3
Okay,
FM.
so as I was saying, this is our monthly live acoustic concert. We're doing it because it is brought to you by our Misfit Stars community. Hi, Stars.
Thank you, Stars.
When I say brought to you by, what that means is that this is a community of people that financially supports the work that Jamie and I do.
Thank you.
They actually do more than just financially support us. They also emotionally and spiritually support us.
They're sort of co-conspirators.
They are, and it is a community of people that actually supports one another as well in those ways. And it is just the best thing ever in my life. And thank you so much, Misfit Stars, for supporting the work that we do, for making this concert possible, for making possible literally everything we do. All the new music we're making, the mentorship that we're doing, the podcast we do every week. Did you know we have a podcast every week, by the way? It comes out on Wednesdays.
It's kind of an amazing thing because if you remember last May, which seems like years ago, but it's 9 months ago, Shannon and I, we had realized a couple months prior with the pandemic that we weren't going to be able to tour, which at that time took about 75% of our yearly income off the table in one fell swoop. And so if you remember, we reached out to our community and we usually do like regular fundraiser. We did a different kind of fundraiser last May in which we asked people to make recurring monthly support donations via our Patreon to help sustain us through this time and support the work that we do and hopefully even to grow it. And we were hoping for financial support. What we weren't anticipating, but what we got out of it was this deep, rich community of human beings who over the past 9 months have gotten to know one another in such deep, tangible ways. And they're supporting all the work that we were doing before, so making music, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they've enabled us to do so much other stuff too. I have just taken off over the last 9 months with mentoring other artists, and oftentimes working for free for other artists who can't afford to hire someone like me. I make records, right? So I can mix records so they sound really good, so you could put it out in the world and maybe, get something going around what you're doing. There's people right now who can't afford that because all artists' incomes have been totally wiped out by the pandemic. The Misfit Stars' ongoing support is enabling me just to give my time to these people for free, to mix records for them, to master records for them, to mentor them, to support them. I'm teaching 4 different people right now how to engineer and mix and produce their own records remotely over email and Dropbox. What a time to be alive. But, you know, this is all being made possible by this recurring monthly support that these people, you, if you're one of the people, are doing through our Patreon. So first of all, if you're one of those people, oh my gosh, like that we are still living indoors and eating food, that's because of you. Thank you so much. 2, if you are not yet one of the people supporting us via our Misfit Stars...
And you'd like to be?
Yeah, and you'd like to be? Just go to misfitstars.com/join. It's a small dollar way that you can help us continue, just A, to survive in this weird pandemic time, which we are doing, thank you, and B, to pay it forward to other people.
And also to get yourself into this community, because that's honestly the best part of it.
Motivation for you. If you want to be part of like a private group of people where you can just talk about stuff in a letting your hair down, vulnerable, honest, open kind of way, secure in the knowledge that no one is going to be a jerk to you online like happens usually on the rest of Facebook, oh my gosh, it's so special.
Yeah, it's great.
We want you there. misfitstars.com/join. Thank you.
End of ad.
End of ad.
We have a few more songs for you. This next one is from, it's called The Sun Rose Today, and it's from the album that we made in 2018 called Both at the Same Time, which, like every song on that album, was sort of grappling with the idea of holding 2 sort of competing truths. Conflicting truths.
Irreconcilable.
At the same time. And the two conflicting truths in this song are beauty and pain. And it specifically, this song was born out of dealing with the loss of a couple of friends. The year that this album was written, our dear friend Beth Caldwell, and our other dear friend April Hines, both whom died because of metastatic breast cancer. Both the day that we heard that Beth was going to be entering hospice, we were on tour in the summertime, toward the end of the summer, and we were driving through the most beautiful, like partially thunderstormy, also like vibrant blue sky all at the same time.
Like a thunderstorm in the distance, like 5 miles away, but we're in the sun. It's just epic, and there's rainbows.
The thing that it was doing with the light, like made the fields. We were in like upstate New York, driving like out in the middle of nowhere. The fields were just the deepest, brightest green I've ever seen in my life, and I was taken just it took my breath away. The beauty of what we were experiencing, and the fact that we were out there together doing this thing, sharing music with people, like living our dreams, doing it. And then at the very same moment,
our very weird dream of playing music in people's backyards.
And then at the very same moment, grappling with the pain of the imminent loss of a friend. And there was a similar story with when we learned the day that April passed away, a similar sort of like juxtaposition of experience. Things that I learned in that time is that the experience of one doesn't diminish the experience of the other, and it goes both ways, and the ability for a human heart to hold all of that at the same time is just breathtaking. So this is The Sun Rose Today, and we dedicate it to dear Beth and dear April. I awoke my breath away. Sun rose today, and you did not. Here we drive at highway speeds, chasing beauty, claiming dreams, and in my throat a brick of curses and tears for your stolen years. The fields out my window are impossibly green, and my eyes in deep blue rapture of this eternal canopy. Tell me, how is it possible that you're not here to see? How is it possible that you're gone? These are the things taking my breath away. The sun rose today, and you did not. Can I just sit here for a while and let the silence take my mind, holding both at the same time? The beauty and the pain, the emptiness, the everything. The beauty and the pain, the emptiness, the everything. The emptiness, the everything. The beauty and the pain. The beauty and the pain.
Oh my gosh, that song always makes me tear up, people. Every single time, without fail. Just hits me right in a certain place inside of me.
Yeah,
Mash some hearts if it hit a place inside of you too.
yeah.
Because Shannon needs to see that.
Oh,
Because that's a
thank
vulnerable
you.
thing to do.
Well, thanks. Thank you. We have a couple more songs for you. We're going to stay on this sort of like somber note for a moment, so you can hang in there with us. I'm actually really stoked that we get to play this next song. There's a story I'm going to have you read about it, which is interesting because the person who shared their experience I don't think she's actually heard this song before, but Lisa is one of our Misfit Stars. She shared in a comment in our private community for Misfit Stars that she actually didn't know a lot of the songs she voted for, but she picked songs that had titles that sounded meaningful to her. And so
isn't that a great way to choose a song?
Which I thought was really interesting, and because her take on the title for this song is entirely different than the meaning that I was bringing into it when I wrote it. The song is called "Say His Name," and for me, this was in 2014, I think. We put out this is on Metaforma, right?
It's on Metaforma, yeah.
Yeah.
So you wrote this in like early 2014.
Early 2014, and for me, this is a song about like the idea behind the song is the metaphors in it are like the imagery rather is all about what happens when people leave this earth, like when they're no longer living, and the experience of what that might be like, just as a sort of an exercise in fictional imagination. Like if I were leaving the earth, what would I, when I look down on humanity and I'm no longer part of it, what would I see? That's sort of like where the perspective of this song comes from. Yeah.
Was this sort of loosely inspired by that book, The Lovely Bones?
This was loosely inspired by a novel called The Lovely Bones.
Which, if you've never read it, oh my gosh.
It's wonderful.
One of the best.
It's kind of like a takeoff from there, because like, yes, it was, The Lovely Bones is written, it's written from the perspective of a dead person. So,
is that a spoiler?
No, it's not.
Okay.
From the very beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, but I want you to read what Lisa had to say about it, because the phrase "say his name" has become a very significant cultural marker in the last like 5-6 years with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Which ironically started in 2014, apropos of Ferguson. So you wrote this in the same year, but like 7 months earlier.
Right. But you see hashtag "say his name" or hashtag "say her name" whenever the community is attempting to make sure we don't forget about Breonna Taylor and Trayvon Martin and Tamir Rice and just like the Sandra Bland, and I mean I could go on and on and on about black people who have been
Manny Ellis right here in Tacoma
unjustly killed by either law enforcement or people who are white supremacists, and so that's the take that Lisa brought to her experience of the title of the song, which I think just sheds an interesting light on all of it. So, Jamie, take it away.
All right, Lisa says, "Say his name. Important to me because George Floyd's murder actually got me off the couch in an Uber downtown with my walker. I marched for the first time ever. I always knew it was bad, but that level of inhumanity to a person of color was the final straw. It lit a fire in me. Though I don't have money or a platform or the ability to volunteer for many things due to physical limitations, I had to try. I don't think my presence made a difference in the long run."
Yes, it did.
Asterisk, disagree. "But it made a difference to me. It kept me from feeling quite so helpless. It helped me feel by all the like-minded people walking and shouting around me. Trayvon, Breonna, let's not forget all their names. Humans need to be treated equally. That includes those with mental illnesses or addiction. That's a huge part of my heart, Lisa."
I love your heart, Lisa.
Love you, Lisa. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, total side note here, but like judging a song by its name is totally valid and you should do it. You should also judge albums by their covers, much like you should judge books by their covers. They say don't, but no, you should. That's what they're for.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would just start with a blank page 1.
There you go.
Right?
So with that sort of twist on the original meaning of the song, like this is a kind of a magical little moment here. And here's "Say His Name." To all the living, breathing, listen to what I say, hold her tight. Your soul is weightless, but you can feel the burden carried by the throngs of bodies moving in and out, avoiding contact, wondering why they feel alone, forgetting why and where they're going, rushing time, missing what's right before their eyes. The miracles they hurry by, the answers to their deepest cries. Hold her tight, say his name before the sound just drifts out to space. Take his hand, touch her face. To all the living, breathing, listen to what I say. Hold her tight, say his name. Cause when you die, you take your memories, and the heaviest to carry are the times you failed to notice that you had everything. Hold her tight, say his name.
Love you guys.
Thank you. We have one final song for you. But we just one more time want to thank again our Misfit Stars for being just an incredible source of support, encouragement, and love. You sustain us literally and not literally, metaphorically. Like, thank you so much for being a part of our lives and for being part of this community. Thank you for being friends with one another in the community.
Yeah,
like
that's the best.
It brings me so much joy when I see people who only know each other because they met through the Misfit Stars community love on each other and encourage each other. It lifts my spirits on days when it needs lifting. So thank you for being such awesome people. And if you are thinking, I would like to become part of this Misfit Stars community, you're absolutely right. You do want to be part of this community. You can do that by going to misfitstars.com/join and just pick it's a small dollar monthly contribution to support the work that we do, to get yourself a ticket into this community, and we'd love to have you.
And it's also really important to me to point out that, like, we're in a pandemic. I understand that people's financial situations are precarious. Ours is too. We get it. So if you're not able for financial reasons to go to misfitstars.com/join and support the work that we do, please know that that's not like a ding on our relationship with you.
Oh my God, no.
Seriously, you know what I mean? Like, there's some people who are able to support financially the work that we do. That's great. There's also a bunch of people who aren't, and I totally get it. We love all of you, and it's not conditional on whether you're able to send money to us.
Absolutely.
So I just want to be like really clear about that.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And this concert every month is a gift to everyone. Whether you're in the Misfit Stars community or not, it is a gift to everybody, brought to you free because of our Misfit Stars. So it's really a gift from them to you.
Thank you, Misfit Stars.
Thank you, Stars. And so our last song, I don't know, just let this be like a little benediction for your soul, like as you go off into whatever you're doing the rest of tonight. I am infinitely grateful that my path, that our paths have crossed with your paths. When you think about how absolutely almost impossible it is that that would happen, that our lives would intersect with each other right now in the way that they are, it's an awesome thought. When you consider the vastness of the universe, it's a pretty awesome thought. What were you going to say?
Oh, you know, just that, yeah, that exact thing Shannon was saying happens to me all the time. I have that thought literally every day. I mean, I have so many conversations, you know, on Facebook, sometimes over email, with people who we've gotten to know from doing music. I mean, I just today had deep, enriching conversations with people from North Carolina, from Boise, Idaho, from Phoenix, Arizona, and from Dallas, Texas. That's just today, you know what I mean? It's a magical thing. It's miraculous that we're able to connect like this. And I know that there's people on here from at least a couple continents right now. That's just mind-blowing to me. That we get to intersect with your life, even in a tiny, tangential way, is just so meaningful to us.
It's
thank
awesome.
You. If you're watching this, thank you so much. That people show up for us and watch us, you know, gamely swashbuckle our way through songs. It's amazing to me. You know, that's remarkable. Thank you for doing that.
So this is our celebration of our paths and possibly crossing each other in this vast universe. Thank you so much. This is Infinite Lines. Infinite light. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Love you guys too. Thank you
Love
so
you.
much for spending this time with us. People, listen. Here's something to talk about in the chat, online with us later. How are you feeling right now? I know for me personally, it feels just there's tension in the air from where I sit. Not in our life, not in our world. Nothing to do with us, nothing to do with you. Love you guys, love each other. Everything's fine in those terms. But just ambiently, I feel heaviness, you know? It's not like disrupting my joy. I feel joyful, and hopefully I brought some of that to this today. But you probably saw that I'm also bringing a little bit of solemnity, a little bit of quietness. I was not always my usual focusedly boisterous self on today's live broadcast. You know what I mean?
You were just what you needed to be.
I was just what I needed to be, and that's fine. But you know, it made me think to ask, how are you guys doing? So please, you know, let's continue talking. I always do a self-care sound-off post. If you want to post on that, how you're feeling, that's great. That's where other people are doing that too. Also, if you want to post it here, if you want to have sidebar discussions, please do. Just know that we care about you, that we're sensitive to how things are feeling in the world right now. If you need something, ask for it. There's amazing people in the chat, you know, both on Facebook and on YouTube.
Like our friend Shantae said that we quoted earlier tonight, you're loved in ways that you don't even know sometimes.
Yeah.
We're going to be back with another one of these live concerts next month, so keep your eyes peeled for the next date and time. And until then, we'll see you around.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Mwah.